my tropical turkeys. Welcome to my kitchen on the Oregon coast. Today I am going to be making, I'm calling it Christmas in California cake. And essentially it is a banana cake with coconut and ginger and autumnal spices, because why not? And brown butter. The things you'll need for this recipe are, you're going to need 3 bowls for this cake. I'm using a springform pan today, but you can use anything that's like the equivalent of an 8-inch cake pan is fine. Parchment paper, some oil for lining the pan, and I'll get to that in a little bit. Some bananas. I am going to use probably enough to get me to this line on my measuring device. So 1.5 cups is what you need of any kind of like fruit product you're using. You could also do this with persimmons and it would be really good. I've got ginger. I haven't weighed this out, but I like a lot of ginger. So I have essentially 6 pieces of ginger that are crystallized. I got these at Kroger. Probably find it in any grocery store. Some molasses, some milk, and this is actually coconut butter. And the first time I tried this, I was like, give me more, gimme. This stuff is so good. And it'll make your cake extra coconutty and also give it kind of a denseness that's akin to like a brownie, which, yeah, hello, yes please. So to get started, I'm going to chop up my ginger. And we're gonna do a little bit of a fine dice on this, and I'm gonna add it to my dry ingredients because I think there is something to the argument that your mix-ins will sink to the bottom if you don't have sufficient amount of dry flour on them before you mix in everything else. And so instead of adulterating my batter with more flour, I just put it in my dry mix, because then your measurements are not going to be off and you're not going to have anything wonky going on with that. And I really love crystallized ginger. If you've never tried it just straight out of the bag, you should, because it just kind of tastes like a ginger snap, but chewy and not nearly as caloric. So, I mean, if you just want a little hint of ginger, it's sweet, it's got a nice satisfying crunch to it, and it's just spicy and wonderful. And, you know, even when I was pregnant, like I would have a little bit of crystallized ginger in my purse. Anytime I felt a hit of nausea, I would just pop one of those in my mouth and it would be gone before it even hit the back of my throat. So, I mean, it's a useful thing. Okay, so I'm gonna set this back over here. And now that I'm done with this, I'm gonna move this out of my way. And next I'm gonna work on my wet ingredients. And so part of the wet ingredients, believe it or not, sugar goes in there because it dissolves. So I need 1.5 cups of sugar. And this is going right into my eggs because I'm gonna blanch my eggs. And I'll show you what that looks like. We're not boiling them. This is a technique that just puts a little bit of air into your batter. So, yeah. So we're just mixing that in. And first it looks a little yellow and thick. And the more you work it, the fluffier and lighter in color it's going to get. And that actually looks pretty good. I don't want to work too much air into this because it is one of those things where you want it to be kind of dense. So adding too much air will make it more of a just kind of fluffy, cakey situation. With this much density ingredient, it has a weird crumb if you do that. So things to know. My dog is going insane in the other room. Okay, so I have a potato ricer, and I like using this for a lot of things. It works so much better than a lot of things do. I like using this for potatoes, obviously, but it works well for anything that you're trying to just mash up quickly and have a good texture with, because it just gets it that fine. Yeah. It is a good thing. It works better than a fork. It works better than a potato masher. It takes a lot less time. So I think I am going to use all 3 of these bananas. And I'm using the back of my knife to get this off of here, because I don't want to have to re-hone my knife too soon. Like, this has a bunch of holes in it, so if you were to use like the blade of your knife against the thing with the holes in it, you're going to end up with kind of a weird surface on the end of your knife, and you're going to have to like resharpen it a bunch. So that's why I do that. And I'm actually thinking I might need a rubber spatula here, so I'm gonna go grab one of those. All right, and I actually needed a 4th banana. This one isn't as ripe as the other ones, but it'll still work in the potato ricer. That surprises me a little bit. I thought 3 would be enough, but nope. So you just kind of roll with the punches. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's fun. It's like a fun factory. And I got this on my Buy Nothing group. Like, I can't believe somebody wanted to get rid of this thing. It's so useful. I use it a lot. Although it's awkward. It is awkward. But also just very useful. Yeah, doing this on camera. Oh gosh, it's funny. This should be a blooper. Okay. Into the sink with you. Okay, that looks right. To my egg mixture, I'm going to add my milk, my oil. Oops, it's okay. It's okay. My molasses, the brand new jar. So this is a 1/4 cup of molasses, and all of these quantities will be on my blog, as always, and I will link that in the description of this video, in case I forget to mention anything, which I sometimes do. So just look for the full recipe there, and it will be there. Because I often add my recipes to my blog before my videos go up, so you can find them even before that usually. All right, and I'm gonna start mixing this. And it's not really that big a deal if the air gets knocked out of it, because again, it's, yeah. We more want to dissolve the sugar in this recipe than we want to put air into it. Because then we're hoping to get kind of like a brownie skin on the top. And brownie skin comes from dissolving the sugar with the eggs before you do anything else. But I'm still gonna go slow with this because I don't wanna knock all the air out. Yeah, it is. Okay, and now this is cooled enough. I'm gonna add this very slowly. And you know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make myself a little stabilizer. Yep. Damp towel will help you out a lot. See that? And I'm gonna go in slowly with this. Very, very slowly. Because we don't want curdled eggs. Oh, the other thing I was gonna mention about this is when you are getting your ingredients ready, you don't want to add the sugar to your eggs too early because you'll end up with denatured proteins, kind of the way that you get with adding too much heat to something. There is a difference though. Like I feel like a lot of people don't understand that adding citrus or an acid or a sugar to eggs will denature them. It does not cook them and it doesn't get rid of the bacteria. So from a food safety standpoint, if you really trust your egg source, then that's a good thing. If you don't, then don't take the chance. And then this is just the coconut butter, and I know this is cool enough to go in, so I'm just gonna go in with all of it. Yeah, and if you can't find this where you are, the brand that I use is called Artisana. And I actually found it here in Newport, Oregon at my co-op. So I know it's available pretty widely, but if you can't find coconut butter, you can use white chocolate and it will be fine. You'll end up with the same texture. Okay, so now I am going to commit a baking sin, but I am just going to add all the wet to the dry. And not really, but most cakes you really want to like add your dry first to your egg mixture and then your wet to your egg mixture. This isn't really that necessary with this recipe. It's a pretty forgiving recipe and it's, again, more like a brownie than a cake. So yeah, that's how I like to do it. And I'm just going slow. I don't want to go too quickly with this because I just want to pay attention to what's happening with the flour. And that looks pretty good. I also like using a rubber spatula at this stage because I can get underneath and I can feel when something is still dry. If you're not using a transparent bowl, which this is looking pretty good, it's just a good technique to use something that's flexible that you can get underneath the batter and really feel whether or not it's dry. Okay, so I'm gonna do a quick clear out and then we are going to line the pan and bake this. So one thing I forgot to mention, and I added this off camera, you need about a tablespoon of coconut emulsion. I got this from Savory Spice Shop. Penzeys Spices probably also has something similar, or I would go to like a specialty spice shop or something like this. It's harder to find in a regular grocery store. In a pinch, a teaspoon of coconut extract will work too. All right, so I'm going to explain what happened here. We lined the bottom of this pan. I put a little bit of oil on the bottom of it. Lined it with some parchment paper. You only want to line the bottom of this because this cake is like a seed, baby. It just needs walls to grow. So yeah, anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and pour this in. So yeah, you don't want to line the walls with parchment paper. I mean, you can if you want to, but I really like it when a cake grabs onto the side of a pan and crawls up. And you can use like a butter knife to release it if it doesn't naturally release from the sides. I've never had any problems with that either. So here I have, they're baked banana chips, and I'm going to add these to the top. See what I'm doing. Just make it a little pretty. Is the camera getting this? Good. And these are so yummy just on their own. I like how they shatter. They'll probably absorb some moisture from the cake, but they're gonna be good. Yeah, they might be a little chewy. That's fine. Yeah. You know what I think I'm gonna do? This is totally last minute decision here, but I'm gonna add some Demerara sugar on top of this. Okay. And when you sprinkle turbinado or Demerara, they're very similar. Like you can switch them out either way. I like to go kind of high so that it hits more surface area when it falls. All right, that looks pretty good. Into the oven you go, my lady, for probably about 50 minutes at 350 degrees. Yep. Oh, hi. So the cake has baked and we've actually transported it to my sister-in-law's house. And now I'm gonna cut into it and try it. So, let's see how it cuts. Looks pretty good. That was my adorable niece. Yeah. Think about it every night and day. All right. And so I need a fork and some whipped cream. But look at, this is the surface with the turbinado sugar, and it's got a nice crunchy top to it. So I'm gonna add a little whip to the top. Now I'm gonna get a fork. All right. So let's lots of family here right now. The top is really good. That's my banana coconut cake.
Is it what? Banana cake?
Banana coconut. So this has a little bit of the banana chip. I'm gonna try this. It is so moist and
yummy.
Perfection.
Don't forget yummy.
Really lots of banana flavor coming through, lots of coconut flavor coming through. You can taste the brown butter. Yeah, make this. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you soon.